his life. So, hi, people of the world. Hi to our lovely DCL community and to any newcomers, welcome. I'm Jess from DCL. Normally, I would be joined by Matt as a co-host, but unfortunately, he's in the middle of a move at the moment, so he can't make it. But nevertheless, we have some really, really awesome guests today who I'm very excited to kind of meet. So we have Laura, aka PrettyFly, who just got recruited by China Dragons as their female pilot for the Women's Cup. So welcome, Laura. And
Thank you, welcome.
and we also have Ryan, aka Mako Reactra, who also just got recruited by Quad Force One for their Women's Cup representatives. So we are very happy to have two FPV women on our show today.
Thank you for having me.
Too often we are missing representation of women, and so I'm very happy that you both could make it and represent. So, we can, I guess, start with the beginning. Maybe you can just, I think in order, we can start with Laura and then Ryan. We can briefly introduce yourself and how you got into FPV. How long have you been doing it and what got you into it? So, Laura?
Yeah, I'm flying FPV since May 2018, but before I fly model airplanes and big soaring planes, and planes with engines. And yeah, I come into FPV because all kinds of flying are my passion, and I was looking for something that gives me adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
Do I pronounce it the right way?
Yeah, adrenaline.
and the feeling of speed, and I can't hurt myself. Yeah. And so FPV was the thing for me, and yeah, that was the reason why I started flying FPV.
Cool. And Ryan, how about you?
I'm Mako Reactra, and I've been also flying since 2018. I started with my husband. He's always been in the RC, and he got me a helicopter, and we dabbled a little bit with that. But then we found FPV on YouTube with Johnny FPV, Mr. Steele, doing these mind-bending tricks with their drones. So we bought each other tiny loops for Christmas, which is sort of an indoor drone, great to learn on. And then the snow melted and we began racing outdoors.
Cool. And what would you say was the defining thing that kind of got you to really invest enough time into like drone racing to be where you are today? Because obviously there's a difference between flying FPV for fun and actually being selected by a team. That's next level passion. So what was it, that kind of click moment where you're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is more than a passion. This is something I want to compete in.
I think there wasn't a click moment. My goal was from the beginning that I want to be a fast racer and a good girl in racing. And I knew from the first flying that I want to be fast and getting faster every training.
Just give me 2 seconds. There are technical issues right now. Of course there are. I like to stay. I'm just gonna change the settings and hopefully the stream should be back. Very sorry to our audience about this. We can blame the internet people at my house.
There.
Okay. I think, yes, I want to save the changes. I think we should be back. Hi, chat people. Can you tell us if the chat is like, if we're good in terms of streaming, if you can hear us properly or if there are any bugs or anything? We would very kindly appreciate that. So I don't have to make these lovely people repeat themselves. Thank you. We're back. Cool. So, sorry, Mako, go ahead. What was the click moment for you?
Well, it's funny, Laura said there wasn't really a click moment. It's sort of similar with me. I got into racing from the start. Like I said, we bought these little, I can kind of show you these little tiny whoops. And we found a hobby shop that my husband grew up with. And we found out that they did racing in their basement. So we started racing right away. And then the snow melted and we were racing the larger drones outdoors. Now I've been in well over 100 races. I love just trying to work on perfecting my lines and getting faster, more consistent as a flyer. So freestyle, I don't know, it's too freeing for me. I'm kind of an OCD type person, so I think that's why I like racing more.
Yeah, I can get that. I mean, this is one thing that I do appreciate about FPV, that there is room for everyone. You know, if you're one of those people who needs well-defined lines and things, you could go into racing. If you more just like to freestyle it, you could go freestyle their filming. I mean, it's a world that I discovered when I joined DCL. So I've been discovering it through all of these pilots that I'm meeting, and it's really exciting because you can tell that you guys are like super into it, and I love it. But cool. So how did you end up basically being recruited for your respective teams? What was kind of the process through that? Were you did you have to take part in the draft selection? How did that kind of happen?
Yeah, I was a pre-pick from the beginning before the draft, and I think my team manager find me because of my social media channels. And yeah, I fly the draft too, but only for myself, not in competition.
And
yeah, I was also.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was also a free pick, just like Laura. So I knew the manager had flown in events where he was, and so he knew me as a flyer. And then I think he saw that I had put a lot of extra stick time into DCL the game, really putting in that effort. So he asked me to join Quad Force One, but I, like Laura, did the draft too because I really wanted to see where I'd kind of measure up, where I'd line up in the leaderboard, and it was good training too, for sure.
Yeah, and how did you do? And I mean, obviously you guys were flying the draft selection more for fun than because you were competing, but how did you end up doing like on it? What position did you end up in?
I think I was in the 140s. I can't remember, maybe 143 or 145. I can't remember. For PC.
And I fly into incognito mode. I don't fly through the last gate. So I don't know on which position I end up. Maybe it will be, if I fly through last gates, something around the same place like Mako. But I can't say it. No.
Fair enough.
But actually, an interesting story is I knew the former manager of Quad Force One back in 2018. I first started flying. Okay. I went to an event. He was there and he saw me and he just thought one day there would be females flying in DCL. Yeah. So he actually had a Quad Force One jersey made for me, like a really old, yeah. So this is back in 2018. It has my name on it and everything. So flash forward to today and I'm actually on the team. Who would have thought?
That's just like fate, isn't it, though? It's just one of those things where it's a sign it was meant to happen. Because I remember I wrote to you personally when we were working on this Women's Cup idea. Basically, a few months back, the conversation had happened often at DCL about there is clearly a lack of representation and we'd love to have more women, and how do we go about doing this? And so the idea was put forward of a women's cup, but this came from talking to basically loads of women in the community, because we didn't want to just say, okay, we're doing this and all of you do. We wanted to make sure it was something that the women in the community actually wanted to take part in. And so I remember you were the first person I reached out to, because I just was like, how do I reach out to women in FPV? Just kind of checked out the people that were like following us, and I was like, oh, she looks nice. And you were very nice and gave.
And I turned out to be horrible.
Yes, the worst. I hate having to deal with you on a regular basis. It's been. But I talked to Laura as well. So you two were kind of part of the very, very valuable feedback that we got, and the names on my list that we kind of used to get this forward, to get everyone to agree to go forward with actually making a women's cup. So thank you for being able to make that happen. I mean, I'm not, I am a woman, but I'm obviously not a woman in FPV. So I only know of kind of how one lives that through obviously listening to your stories, and maybe you want to share how you feel being a woman in this kind of environment. Do you feel like you're being treated differently? If so, how do you kind of see that?
It's a really, really hard question. I think there is no right answer I can do.
It's a personal thing. I mean, how do you personally, what is your experience? Obviously, everyone goes through something different. And so how have you kind of...
When I'm on a race in real life, I'm not feeling different to the other guys. So okay. It's like a big family, a big community, and I don't feel like only a girl or something like this. They are all my friends, and they treat me like a normal person. I'm the alien or something like this. I'm a human too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, flying DCL in Women's Cup is a big pleasure for me, and I know it's something really, really special, and I'm really proud of this. And yeah, I don't know what to say.
No, that's it. I mean, like I said, it's an individual experience, obviously. But yeah, this is why we want to listen to people rather than make blanket statements. So what about you, Mako? How have you kind of felt? If you've been treated in ways that you see fair, unfair, how do you go about the whole thing?
I would agree. When you're racing in person, it's family. I tell you, you meet somebody in FPV you've never met before, and they're literally your best friend by the end of the day. There's just a connection there. I don't know why. But online's a little bit of a different story. I think generally because there's so few women in FPV and even drone racing in general, that you stand out. You're going to get more attention, potentially more sponsorships because of that attention. So it works out really nice, but don't get me wrong. There are definitely those internet trolls that come after you, but you learn not to feed them. But in person, everyone is amazing. Really supportive. I think they want to see their wives or girlfriends or even their daughters fly.
I get that. I see that with a lot of the members of the community who are like, wait, how do we convince more our girlfriends or whatever to fly? Because we want them to help out and race against them and stuff. So I think that's one of the things that we wanted to do with the Women's Cup, is to show that there are women racing and inspire more women to race, because ultimately we don't want to do just a women's, not just a women's cup, but we'd like everyone to just be racing together. It's just that statistically there are just fewer women in FPV, and until we get parity, these are kind of little things that we're trying to do to be able to encourage more women to join. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about maybe flying a drone, just go do it. I mean, everyone starts with nothing and gets there. So And this is one thing as well. When you first started, obviously we all go through learning curves and don't really know how to do things. And what's something that you kind of wish you had known, and so that you want to tell to someone who is starting now, who's never flown a drone before, how, like a little piece of advice that you think could be really useful to them?
Definitely don't buy cheap things. It doesn't matter what, but do not buy cheap. This is can be a very, very big mistake. And I very much attention on that my quad is, I don't know the word, robust? Robust?
Yeah, robust.
Robust, yes. And this is the most important thing for me. And yes. And trust your gear.
And what about you, Mako?
I think 2 pieces of advice would be, 1, find the community, find your community of flyers, whether it's racing or not. Go on Facebook and join the groups. Go on Discord, join the groups. Go to YouTube and follow Joshua Bardwell, because he's going to be a big help. But then sim. You know, I didn't sim a lot starting, and that would have been super helpful, because you can fly over and over and over again without breaking the bank. With just clicking a button, you can be back in the air. You don't have to repair your drone. But I would say those 2 pieces of advice. I mean, there's so many. Like, learn your gear, like Laura's saying, because if you're racing, you're going to crash and you're going to need to repair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just quick interval, because apparently Matt is trying to join, and I
nice. So he's
see him
for us.
trying to join. Matt, I don't know what you're joining. Can you try again? Can you do your hosting from the chat? I really don't know what. Sorry for this slight interruption. We're using Google Hangouts, which is fun. If anyone has something that's not Zoom and not Microsoft Teams and not Google Hangouts to advise to do video conferencing, I am happy to listen to it. Because these are the 3 that I use on a regular basis and I'm fighting with. Well, I'm sorry, Matt. I don't know where you are, so maybe try. The black box looks better. No, it doesn't, Matt. You look better. So sorry for the brief interruption. We miss you, Matt, but you will all get to see Matt on Sunday, because he will be there the whole day, keeping you entertained, narrating through the races, and also mentioning you 2 obviously while you're racing. So it's going to be really exciting, because I know we all miss Matt and his beautiful voice. And yeah, sorry. So back to starting as a racer. So you've obviously since then kind of been able to learn, been able to grow. And what was in all of that your craziest moment where you're like, oh, okay, that just happened?
Oh gosh.
I've got not that craziest moment. I've got a few moments that were wow, but I can't pick out one of them. There are moments when I won a race and I thought, wow, that was fast, and I was so proud of myself, and this was a great moment. Or some spectacular crashes in some concrete walls or something like this, and yeah.
And how about you, Mako?
My fellow nurse pilots would joke, say, when I assaulted a police officer with my drone once.
How did that happen?
Well, we were having a drag race at an event. So that was pretty, just send your drone as fast as you can down and loop around and come back and hope the net catches you. net didn't catch me. Of course, I went first. They're like, Mako, go first. And I went through the net. I didn't stop in time. And I tumbled into concrete and hit a police officer in his boot. He was a really good sport about it and actually apologized for breaking my drone. I'm not sure if it was his boot or concrete, but it was quite the experience.
I can imagine. That would be petrifying. Do you have
Yeah,
any...
thankfully it didn't do something worse. You know, he clearly wasn't in the best place behind the net.
Yeah, that's on him, to be fair, to just be there behind a net when there are drones going really, really fast. Like, what did he expect? And what about you, Pretty? Did you have any crash that was particularly memorable in a race or something?
Not really. Not some crashes that I can mention here. Not interesting. No.
Fair enough.
They're always fun to watch, though, crashes.
We have compilations from the obviously previous years of DCL where we had like live races. There are just so many compilations of best crashes, so many of them, and I love watching them. And this is one thing that I really miss in the sim, is you can't have like a proper crash. We didn't really put that feature in, and so it's obviously one of those things that you miss about live racing, where especially in a big heat when 8 people are flying at the same time, within the first second, half of the drones have already crashed into each other. And then the next second, they're crashing into the walls nearby. It's quality entertainment. So we are really hoping at the end of the year to be able to do live races so we can see more real life crashes. So that's one of the exciting things. So how do you guys find that the sim actually compares to real life racing? Do you feel like you race differently on it, that you have a different style, or do you think it's quite reflective of how you kind of normally fly in real life?
Honestly, I have to say I don't use Sim before DCL very often. So DCL was my first intensive experience flying a sim. I flew lift off and velocity down for 1 or 2 times, but not very often. And yeah, it's a little bit different, but I think it's a good training too, because in sim you can learn how to fly fast, because when you crash it doesn't cost any money. And when I fly in real life, I'm always watching, not too fast, and do not crash, and there's a wooden gate, and what will be done when I crash in this wooden gate? And in Zip you can say, reset, and it's cool, and the competitions in Zim are cool too. Yeah.
Fair enough. And how about you, Mako? Was it like a relatively easy transition, or?
I didn't sim a whole lot either. I would occasionally get on DRL or Velocidrone or DCL, and then when I found out the Women's Cup, like Laura did, I started simming way more consistently. It's definitely different than flying in real life because, like Laura said, I am flying more full throttle in a sim. I don't get to do that in real life as much. So that is a blast. And just to be able to fly the different courses, because we're flying a lot in fields, you know. Yeah. The tracks aren't that interesting, but on DCL the game, we're flying in cities. We're flying, you know, diving skyscrapers. There are gates attached to the skyscraper. So it's just an experience you can't get in real life. And stick time is stick time, so I think it helps no matter what.
Yeah.
So obviously last year there was a prolonged lockdown where everyone was kind of forced to stay inside. And so you guys were saying that you started DCL this year, but were there any other ways last year that you were finding to be able to cope with lockdown to were there other sims that you managed to practice on, or were you still able to find a way to get outside and still practice, or did you just sit at home and cry because you really missed it, which I won't judge you for. I did the same.
There were weeks where we can go outside, but not meet with friends, only alone.
Yeah.
And I was trying to fly for myself, but it's racing, and racing alone is so boring because you don't have any before you and anyone behind you, and it's a really sad thing when you are alone. And yeah, it was a hard time last year, and I for a few months I flew not very often, and then came the Women's Cup, and yeah, I thought, hey, new thing to do, and new I missed the word.
Challenge.
New challenge. Yes, thank you. And this gave me new motivation and more happiness in my life, and
fulfillment. We didn't have races so for a little while between October and like the upcoming race, and that period kind of around Christmas, whatever. We were all, I wouldn't say bored, but I really missed pilots. And like when the draft selection started, I was like, okay, cool. There's like, we're building up to races now, but it is weird in between when there's like just nothing happening. And what about you, Mako? How did you manage to kind of cope with the whole lockdown situation?
Well, I ended up working through most of it. I'm a teacher, and we had, at first we had only distance learning, so I was doing it through the computer, but then we transitioned to doing it in person and in the computer, a hybrid model. So that kept me honestly really busy. So not having races during the winter, we don't do too much outside during the winter anyways. We race indoors. I didn't miss it too much, but once the weather got nicer, I was itching to get out and race. So I set up a lot of gates in my backyard. It's a fairly good size, so I can put up a small course, and I've made my own gates, and then I graduated and bought some gates. And so I keep busy flying alone, but definitely flying in person is, you just can't beat that. But we were lucky. We had some racing still happening here in the US. We had the multi-GP national championship still happen, surprisingly. So that was nice to be able to go and fly that with people.
That's really cool that there are races in real life that are restarting as well. I'm seeing it more and more. I think in the US, you guys kind of opened up a bit sooner. In Europe, they're still quite strict. I know in Germany, I was living there for a while, and everything was closed all the time. And every time they'd kind of start opening up, you're like, yay, I can do an event thing. And then they're like, nope. And you're like, okay, back home.
yes.
It's been a struggle. For those who just joined, I'd like to apologize. As some of you have mentioned, there are technical issues with Twitch. It is not being cooperative with me today, and I do really, really apologize for that. And for those who just joined, you see that there is over there a black square where Matt should be. Unfortunately, there are technical issues there as well. He's not been able to connect, so we don't have him in our stream, but he is in the chat, so if you have Matt questions, you can also ask him in the chat. But he's supposed to be co-host, so it's mostly spotlight on these amazing pilots. Anyway, no offense, Matt, but we'll be hearing lots of Matt on the weekend, so right now we're going to give the spotlight to these two. Is there... My head is blank. Oh, right, sorry, yes. I have like this mental list of
it's the
like
technical
questions
difficulties throwing off things.
It's throwing me off completely. I'm having to do damage control at the same time as thinking. What was an achievement that you had within your kind of drone racing career, if you want to call it that, that you were like, okay, wow, this is an amazing achievement? It doesn't have to be winning a race or anything, just a moment where you're like, wow, I did this. I'm so cool.
Give me one minute. Maybe Mako can answer first.
I would say this, being a DCL pilot is pretty amazing. But I would say I was in a documentary recently, an FPV documentary, and anyone who has not seen the trailer should go and check it out on YouTube. It's called Flow State. Flow State.
Okay.
And it's not out yet. I hopefully it will be out soon. But I went down and interviewed and flew. Some of the most influential droners in the world were a part of it. DJI, analog, everything. Racing, freestyle, sports, cinematics. So basically, the reason I'm so proud of it is because I think it's really gonna educate the public and teach them a little bit more about what we do. Because I think when people think of drones, they think of military, or they think you're spying on them, and they don't realize all the amazing applications there are to use them. And I'm a teacher, so I'm all about education. So if we could show the public what we do, I'm excited. So hopefully that will be out soon, and they're hoping to get it on Netflix. So fingers crossed. Great. Check out the trailer.
Well, if you guys follow Mako on Instagram and co, she'll definitely be posting this, or you can post it in our Discords as well, and share it so that our audience will be able to see that. And so, PrettyFly, do you have an answer now?
Yeah, I've got an answer now.
Cool.
I have my head got stuck like yours.
Yeah.
I was so.
It's hot. We're in the middle of things.
Yes.
We need to drink more.
Say. Bottoms up.
Yeah, of course, DCL. This is awesome pleasure, and I've got invited into TV shows in Germany.
Congrats.
And got a short article around 5 minutes, and yeah, this was pretty awesome experience. This was a real pleasure and something very special, because I don't know if there are much shows about drones in Germany, and yeah.
And so what shows were you a guest on?
This were only documentations about what is flying FPV and who I am, and which are the rules and which types of flying exists, and yeah.
And where is it that we can, do we have to be in Germany to watch it, or is there somewhere online that we can watch these?
I can send you a link when you write me on Instagram. There are in an online mediathek on Sat.1 and RTL.
Okay,
you can search for PrettyFly, and maybe you can find that articles.
Yeah, definitely. We're always fans of promoting our community and our pilots and what you guys are kind of bringing into the world, and you're all doing these amazing things. So anytime that you guys are involved in things, please tag us and we will share it to our pages as well, because it's Drone Champions League isn't about us, it's about our pilots. We would be nothing without you guys, and we obviously want to give you guys the most exposure and anything possible, so we're always happy to interact with the community. Yeah, someone had an interesting question, I think Melissa, about screens, how on the sim you fly, wait, what was it? My chat is being bugging. But yeah, how on a computer screen, you're flying in a different kind of format than you would in an actual FPV quad, like when you're with the goggle thingies. Are they called goggles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's a big difference between if you're flying of a 16.9 versus a 4.3?
Yeah, of course, it's a big difference. because of the size, and because of the resolution. Every time when I flew for a few hours on the simulator and then switched to real life and my analog system, I thought, oh, then I can't see anything, and I have to. I need really one pack to get comfortable with this, because it's such a difference.
Yeah, I would agree. I find myself trying to get comfortable, and I'm like slouching lower my chair to try to get eye level to the gates. Oh, is Matt going to sing to us?
Oh my God, we got Matt. Okay, now the thing that just happened with Matt joining.
You're more confident than I am.
Yeah, I don't even know what I was answering anymore. So
this
Carry on.
is
I'm not
very
really
entertaining. Yeah, no, I have to restructure the entire thing. If you guys are looking at the live stream, you'll see that everything has now moved around.
I could go.
No,
Oh
Matt.
no!
But you guys can talk
Oh no!
while I just
No, I'll
move
just leave.
all of this
I've upset
around.
everything.
Don't worry, I've got this. Matt,
Oh no!
please ask questions. And...
Oh, Jess. Oh, I'm sorry, Jess.
No, please
This
don't
is
apologize.
going really well. I'm so glad I came here and made everything so much technically better. Laura, Ryan, hello. Usually I'm here for the start of things, but yay!
better
Good.
late than never. That's what they say.
Exactly.
Well, I'm just as well that is a saying, because that kind of sums me up, really. Yes, Nate is in the chat saying you've got 2 Mats. Yeah, that's not something anyone needs. I've been listening to a bit of this, and I've also been swearing at computers. So, it's all just vocal warm-ups. So I hope that's okay. I'm so excited. I'm properly fanboying over here. I'm welcome to DCL.
Thank you.
Melissa says I've ruined everything. Thanks, Melissa. Okay, I'm done. So, yeah, Jess, I'm really sorry about this. I've been trying to get in since the start of the thing, and you didn't leave room for me. That's basically what's happened here, isn't it? That's not it at all. I know, and I've been trying to. I'm really sorry. No, it is all my fault. I've just moved house, and it's a chaotic mess, but everything will be great for Sunday, which I can't wait for. It's been such a long time coming.
I hear there's a way you can make up for it by singing.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea. That people think is a good idea. And I, despite my best efforts to prove them all wrong, it turns out that no one listens to me. Otherwise, everybody would know it's a terrible idea. Oh, I was hearing earlier on. I'm right. I was hearing about how you got DCL, and I've heard a lot about what it's been like. Women pilot in the world of FPV, which is so exciting. I've been wanting us to have women pilots in the DCL since we started. And when I started doing DCL back in 2017, we did have Judy FPV racing with us then. We had one Raya for one of the events in 2018. And ever since then, I've had a few people, when we used to do real life races, people would say to me, we need more female pilots in this. And it's like, yes, we do. So, like, welcome. And I'm really excited. And how's it been joining the teams? I'm sorry if you've gone over this already. As I say, I was
that part
shouting.
we have not gone on. So.
But how has it been joining the teams? I guess you haven't really met your teammates or anything. You haven't done. Cool. Good. So, Laura, I know you got picked up by China Dragons, but of course, China Dragons is one of the teams with pilots, spread all over the world, really. Have you had much chance to meet your teammates?
If I meet my teammates,
have you spent much time getting to know them or chat with them online? Obviously, meeting in person is, impossible right now.
We meet each other, the German ones, in, I think, 2 weeks on a race in Germany, on the multi-GP race. And yeah, this will be first time where we see each other. Mm-hmm. And normally we chat on Discord nearly every evening. And yeah.
Every evening? Oh, well, so there's been is that because
not really every evening.
Okay.
Nearly every evening.
I guess getting closer to race day, there's more kind of, I don't know, are the teams chatting more? Are you more regularly in contact with each other?
Can you repeat the question, please?
As we get closer to the first race of the season on Sunday, are you chatting to each other more often? Is there kind of a sort of build-up coming to Sunday, like you guys egging each other on a bit?
No, I think not really. We chat with each other really often before the race comes, and it's not more often, I think.
It's not more often. Okay, and Ryan, what about yourself? Are you finding, because I know you're in the team who aren't shy of talking, to be honest. So have you had a chance to, you know a few of them in person, I guess?
Yeah. I've flown with Susan, the other female on the team. I've been to events where majority of them have flown, actually, and the manager I've met. So I haven't seen them in a while, but we're definitely active in our Discord and we're active in our Facebook group. So we're chatting it up, getting each other excited. And they've really done a great job of making us ladies feel welcome. We've been practicing with them here and there.
Yeah, and I think all of the teams, are really excited about this. We all think drone racing is such an inclusive, or it should be, and it can be such an inclusive sport. We just know there's, various people that have been underrepresented, and this is why DCL is doing what it can to, give everybody this opportunity. I remember back again when we started, there was very much a talk of, anybody could really be on that stage when we were doing real life races. Anybody who can hold a controller can be taking part in this. We've had 9-year-olds in this. We've had 12-year-olds in this. We've had, a range of people. We want to keep making that point. Jess, I've properly ruined your show, haven't I?
That's fine. Keep talking. So at some point, the cameras will come back on. People can hear you. Okay. That's the important part.
It's definitely more important than looking at me. So what's the plan between now, Thursday, and Sunday for you both? What's your plan individually, but also as part of your team? Right. Let's go with you first. What's the plan between now and Sunday?
Who'd you ask? Okay.
Flying so often as I can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have to get comfortable with DCL flying because as I said a few minutes ago, DCL is my first experience with a simulator, and so I'm trying to fly every day for 2 hours, or if I have more time, then 4 or 5 hours. And this is my plan for the next days and weeks.
Yeah. And Ryan, is it a few hours a day now and more later?
It was less before because I was in my last couple of weeks of school. I'm a teacher, but we just started vacation. So now it's daily. And I've got a lot to make up for because like Laura, I really haven't flown a lot of sim before DCL. So I'm going to be flying every day and focusing on the prop. We've been focusing on the prop town tracks.
Yeah, I actually got to see the tracks you're going to be racing on today when I had a bit of a chat with our track designer to get my head around them. Good luck.
How are they, Matt?
Yeah, that's my advice to you.
And he leaves. Good luck. Sayonara. Perfect.
No. Fine. Back again. The tracks are different than last year. If anybody watched the 2020 season and saw us racing in Top Down, our own little bit of America, then they're different tracks this year, which is very exciting. Same location, same environment, of course, but you won't be racing on any of the ones you saw last year, and they're fun. They're fun, and I'm full of amazement that people can learn to fly these things as quickly as you do. How do you get on with learning tracks? What's your kind of process to learn a track? If you've got a limited amount of time to learn one, how do you go about it?
At first I look how the pros fly, because I think it's important to fly from the beginning the best line. And so I watch better pilots and faster pilots, how they fly. And then I'm trying to fly at first constantly and not crashing. And after that, when I knew the track, when I knew my line and knew the hard gates and the gates which I can fly easily, I'm trying to get faster and faster.
What do you reckon? How long do you reckon it takes you, Lina, to learn not like your fastest line, but just your way around?
Can you repeat, please?
How long do you reckon it takes you to learn the layout of a track? I don't mean be amazingly fast on it. I just mean, it's left here, it's dive, it's split S here, that sort of thing.
It's I don't know, maybe half an hour, and then I fly a good time, not an awesome time, but a good time, and until I can fly a very fast line, it's maybe 3 or 4 hours, I think.
Cool. Ryan, what about you? Do new tracks come easily?
No, not easily. I think with more time in DCL, they will. I would say I use a similar process to Laura. I also like, though, if there's a certain element that I'm having trouble with, like one of the spring trials was this ladder that went up 4 times. I love that thing. So I would just hit that over and over and over again to try to practice that one element. But yeah, I don't really know how long it takes me to learn a track. Not too long to learn it, I would say, to know where I'm going.
That's good. Let us know after the weekend how long it took you.
Right.
We've got 3 of them for you for this weekend, and there's a couple of people in the chat asking me to leak them, and no. And no and no for the other tracks.
That's not how it works, you guys.
I quite and actually I love my job, so no. I'm tempted to leak the names of them. I must admit, I'm tempted to leak the names.
Ooh.
Okay, I will allow the name of the first one.
Ooh, you will allow?
Yes.
You will allow?
Just the name.
I didn't know I had to clear my consent with you, Jess. I had no idea I had to. I got to check my contract out. Wait a minute. Can Jess tell me what to do? Yeah, Jess can tell me what to do. Yes, she can. The first one is called Sky Surf.
It's exciting.
So there.
Sky Surf. So
that's way more information. That tells you absolutely nothing, does it?
You're going to be up a lot above the buildings.
Oh, there's going to be a sky, and yeah.
You're going to surf.
Yeah, no, they're amazing. The track designer has done an absolutely fantastic job as ever. So we're gonna have some good fun on that.
Yeah, just a quick shout out to Filippo, who has been working tirelessly at these tracks and done an excellent job. And I think Filippo often goes underappreciated. So Filippo, if you're watching this, we appreciate you.
Nitro's in the chat saying he reckons he knows the names of the tracks. Okay, if you're sure. Interesting. And that's a good question from G-Man. Have you asked that one, Jess?
Oh, wait, which one now?
Mako, are your students excited about you being a pro drone racer?
No, I have not asked that one. Great question.
They love it. They love it, love it. Oh my gosh. I bring my drones to school sometimes. I chase them around at recess. I film events at our school, like the 5th grade graduation, our book character parade. They can't get enough of it. I brought in some starter drones and had them fly. Basically just hit off the ceiling a bunch of fun. It was fun. A few of them could hover it. So they think it's amazing, and they challenge me all the time to get better. You know, they're like, "Lee, do flips, do 3 flips in a row." And they all follow my YouTube channel. They, you know, at that age, they're like, "Anyone with a YouTube channel is famous." So they just love it. And some of them are actually in that documentary that I talked about, because I talked a lot about STEM and drone education. So some of them are in it, and they feel famous because they're in it.
Oh, that's really sweet. That's really fun.
I have a Girl Scout in my class, and she had to interview somebody, and she chose to interview me. So I think I'm inspiring them more than just in the classroom academically.
Yeah.
Showing them that you can have a passion for other things and set goals, and you're gonna fail, but you're going to work hard and overcome them.
Teachers
I think that's a
are
great
so
lesson for.
important. I think
Yeah.
this is one thing we truly
But I've had some of
underappreciate
them
you
come
guys.
to my races. I've had a few kids come to my races, actually. But girls, too.
Laura, by the way, I'm sorry, I called you Lena earlier on. Laura, do you have there been sort of people around you who are amazed by what you do and have come along to see you in action?
No, of course, all of my friends are pretty interested in my hobby and in drones, and I've got the DJI FPV combo for a review. And I don't want to talk about if it's good or not. That's not placed in here. But my best friend every day comes to me and asks, "Hey Laura, FPV flying is so cool, and can I fly DJI FPV?" And she's one of my biggest fans, and she loved flying with me, and it's so easy for her. And yeah, my sister asked me really often too if she can fly with me, and for my sister it's awesome to watch through the goggles. It's really fun for her, and yeah.
Yes, okay.
I find that so many people get sick watching through the goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to, I mean, people would always come and watch the real life races. And when we get back to doing real life races, when we get back to doing real life races, it's always been great because we've always had this sort of family event. You know, people have come along. There's a lot of parents there with their kids who are, probably just a bit of a novelty, to be fair, right?
Yeah.
And some of the races we've raced, I've never had the chance to go and see it before. Like in Brussels, for example, you can't even fly a drone in Belgium. That may be a little bit out of date, but a couple of years ago when we were racing in the heart of Brussels, the capital of Belgium, it was illegal to fly a drone in the country, but we had permission to do what we did. So people were coming along going, oh, what is this? It's always been family events. We've always had, parents and kids coming along. So give kids that chance to be inspired by it. Whether they want to race or whether it's just, STEM, like you mentioned, is a fantastic thing. And then we kind of did this as a sort of, I know the original idea from the founder was give people an experience of flying, but PrettyFly, you can kind of just do that for people anyway, can't you? You don't have to do it just in drone. So you've got quite a lot of experience. Hold a minute, what's going on?
The internet is just
It's not wonderful, is it?
Oh no, it's not you, it's me. I'm just ready to give up at this point, but the show must go on. Do you know what though?
It's better without me.
No, Matt. Trust me, it's been the same this whole time. Do you know what about Brussels though? I was having dinner at an old family friend that I've known since I was born, basically, last night, and he was living in Brussels in 2018, and he's like, "Oh, I saw this drone event in 2018 when I was in Brussels," and I was like, "Was it in the center or whatever?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh my god, that was DCL. That's the place where I work now," and it really kind of set a market. He really, it imprinted on him, and he told me he told all his parents and friends and stuff about it afterwards, because he'd been passing by completely by coincidence, ended up seeing it, and he was like, it was amazing, and the insane talent that was there of these kids who were 9 years old who just step up on the platform and you'd forget that they were kids because of the way they were flying. It was really one. And it's stuff like that where I'm like, you know what, I'm really happy I'm working for DCL, and obviously I feel like, Matt, you probably share this too, that it's this whole experience that we are able to bring people that just it makes me happy personally, and I'm really happy that you guys now also get to be pilots in that. Obviously it's unfortunate that it's virtual for now, but hopefully we'll be back in real life soon and we'll be able to share this, more physically with people.
And PrettyFly and Mako, you've both come from real life flying as well, so you must be itching for this thing to start going out into the real world again.
I only understand I came from real life flying.
Oh, sorry. You started in real life flying, and and now racing the sim to take part in this season. So you must be, the moment when we can go and race in real life, that's going to be really exciting when we can go back and do real life races.
Honestly, I don't understand the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just we're doing a virtual season for now, but
yeah,
when we go and do real life races again, you must be very excited for that.
This will be absolutely awesome. Really, this will be the best thing ever when we race in real life in DCL. This really can't wait for it.
Yeah, we're racing in real life through MultiGP right now, but I want to fly one of those DCL quads.
Yeah.
They're special.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are quite something, whether they're, well, whichever team flies them. But if they're flown by Quad Force One, then they do tend to be quite experimental, we'll say. But the teams coming together and helping each other out and swapping ideas and tinkering with the quads in real life, that's something I really miss. Because obviously in the game, it's a bit more of an even playing field. Which means it comes down to pilot skill, and I don't know if there's anybody in the chat who's got sort of particular feelings about this. In motorsports, the old-fashioned ones with wheels, there's people who sort of go, oh, Formula One is interesting because all the cars are different, so it's more of like a technological kind of challenge. And then you get things like touring cars where everyone's kind of in the same thing. And some people like one because they think it's like, the forefront of technology. Some people like the other one because they think it just comes down to the drivers. And we used to have that in DCL as well. We used to have, everybody's got like these parameters and they have to fit for their drone. It's got to be this weight, no bigger than this size for safety and so on. But then there's all that, and you both must have this as well, all that tinkering with it and trying components and thinking, oh, if we do the aerodynamics differently, this can make a difference and that sort of stuff. You both must surely have spent hours and hours and hours. I can see from behind you as well. You must have spent hours and hours just trying things out and building new quads and trying things out and going again. Ryan, you go first.
Okay. Yeah, I love designing my drone and trying out different parts. My first drone was actually a bind and fly, so it was built for me because I didn't know how to build drones yet. But as soon as I built my first one, I was hooked, and I was like, okay, I need a fleet now.
Oh.
So this one's my racing drone. So you can see I definitely put some care into the design. I wire loomed my motors just to give it that extra look, but also protect the wires. And, I've got my color scheme going. But picking out the parts has been great. I use Hobbywing a lot for ESCs and these motors. Love Hobbywing. The frame is a diatone frame, so you can see how thick those arms are. This was actually the type of quad that broke on the police officer's foot, so somehow broke that arm. So yeah, that is the fun part. I'm not a huge fan of building and repairing. I do it more out of necessity, but kind of picking out the components and designing it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I built my first quads. I have to say I don't build much quads. My first drone was a cheap drone with cheap Racer Star engines, and they break really, really fast. And then I switched to better components, and it worked for me very well. And I built 2 or 3 same builds, and my motto is every time never change a running system. And when I found something that works for me, I fly it.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I've seen teams try too hard to make something clever.
Yes.
You know, and try and Ryan.
Are you doing a quad force one?
I didn't say that. No, but I have seen some teams turn up at events with a canopy that turned out to be illegal, or not. And I must say, not through anyone trying to like unfairly get an advantage. Let me be absolutely clear. Nobody was, sneak this. Absolutely not. But just try things and then, fin sort of design and stuff like that. And it's kind of, I understand where they were coming from because, particularly Quad Force 1 in one of the years, had such a rough year with components and so on. So I think they were trying everything they could. And sometimes, you just got to find something that flies. And I compete with that, like Laura was just saying. But I love seeing everybody tinkering with the gear and helping each other, and if somebody needs some props, another team will lend them some props. I think it's something we've always tried to show at DCL, and I do think we could show it more as well when we're in real life races. The camaraderie between the teams is great, which is something I've always really, really admired.
For sure.
Melissa wants to know, does the color scheme give you a speed boost because it makes you happier?
Yeah, absolutely. Your mood while you fly is ultra important, right? You have to be in a mood to fly. You can't be pissed off. You can't be stressed out because you're already going to feel that anxiety racing. So if your gear looks good and flies good, that's important.
Sure does.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't look like that after the race, believe me.
I think at the end of a racing day, nothing I've got anywhere near me looks anywhere normal, and I wasn't even racing, to be honest. So colours, that's what gets you speed, right? Nice shiny lights.
No, I have mentioned the ESC. I have a wicked powerful ESC. I love it. And I love my motors too, so both.
I want all this sort of stuff to come to our season as soon as possible. Jess, apparently you're in charge. Make it happen.
In charge is a strong word. I have certain authorities.
You're just the person who can boss me around. Oh,
yes, basically.
Okay, good.
That is exactly how our relationship works, Matt. I enjoy it that way.
I'll behave. Halo Walker and a few other people are in the chat saying, "Why is the video feed on and off the entire time?"
Be on your toes.
It's a pain, isn't it?
It's really just like, when everything that could possibly go wrong, no matter how many times you've tested, still ends up going wrong. Yeah. That's on me.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
It's one of the reasons why I was late in. I've moved house. All my gear is in boxes. The stuff I've prioritized unpacking is my streaming gear, and my camera doesn't work anymore. So 2 computers later, and a bit of patching, and hi. Yeah. So everything will be great Sunday. Can't wait for Sunday. Can't wait as we go racing on Sunday.
Yeah.
This wants to know: do you have a set goal for each flying session or training? That's a good question, Melissa.
That is an excellent question.
Laura, do you like go into a training session and think, right, by the end of this, I want to have learn this move better, or do you set yourself goals like that?
Can you repeat the question, please?
When you're having a training session, Laura, what goal do you set yourself?
To fly constantly, and crashing not so much, and of course getting faster. I'm always trying to set a new personal best. This is the goal every racing pilot should have.
Do you go into a training session though and think, like, I'm going to practice this bit of my racing a lot? Do you practice a particular move to try and get that tighter and faster, or is it do you sort of focus on small details?
Yes, it depends on if I will have a race or not. At first, I was grinding solo trails. So for 1 week, I fly only one track. And now I'm trying to learn fast new tracks. So it depends what I'm doing next the next days.
Fair enough.
I would say, like Laura, I'm always trying to be my personal best, but I really want to focus my training more because I haven't spent a tremendous amount of time on DCL the game. There are a lot of tracks I haven't flown. So I think that will be perfect training for, you're handed this track, only have 45 minutes to learn it. So I want to set, 45 minutes on the timer and try doing that a little bit just to have that experience. But I also want to practice certain elements more. Like I was mentioning before, someone mentioned that they create a track with a bunch of ladders. And I'm like, yeah, that would be awesome. I just want to get better at ladders going right and left. So I'd like to focus my training more. I haven't done that yet.
Have you guys...
using the DCL track builder was a great idea.
Yeah, I was going to say...
What was that? Using...
Oh, go ahead.
Using the track builder?
Yeah, have you guys been trying to do that in order to maybe help your practice and stuff?
Our team has.
Okay.
But I've never used the track builder myself.
I never do.
Is it something you
doing
want
it together as a team?
Yeah. Sorry,
maybe
Matt?
at some point.
No, it's all right. I was just thinking doing it together as a team makes a lot of sense because it's, you got to learn how to operate it and then put it together. So I could see that being something that teams move into doing, having somebody essentially make training grounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we do.
Cool.
So Sunday is race day, and your preparation for that happens on Saturday when you get to see these 3 tracks. And you mentioned 45 minutes just now, Ryan. Actually, you're going to get a little bit longer, although I'm not sure, Jess, what we can talk about.
I think we are. I think this is
we're allowed to
public information. You get, and now so there are a total of 3 tracks confirmed, and it's 2 practice sessions. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, because I think I actually might have outdated info on this, but you get 1.5 hours, then a break, and then another 1.5 hours on Saturday.
Yeah, that's what the timings I'm expecting as well. Free practice is an hour and a half, then a half-hour break, and then an hour and a half again. So 3 hours in total. And you spend that time how you wish. So it's not 1 hour on a track, 1 hour on a track, 1 hour on a track. It's up to you. Which brings all this wonderful new sort of strategy into the mix that we've got for 2021, because teams and individual pilots, you can think, oh, I want to practice this track more because I think the other ones are a little bit easier for me. Or maybe a team do something really bold and only focus on 2 of the tracks out of 3 and, put a little bit of time on the 3rd track, but they want to absolutely kill it on the other 2. Everybody's going to have to race as teams, going to turn up. For the women, I don't think you're going to compete on all 3 tracks. But 3 tracks for Prop Town on Sunday and 3 hours to collectively learn them, as in learn all the tracks together.
Yep. And the way the tracks are going to be raced, this is information for you, dear Twitch users, is the round robin round of the World Championship is every team is going to face against every team in a total of 6-7 rounds. So all 3 tracks are going to have been raced by each team. And the small final and grand final, so the 3rd and 4th racing against each other and then the 1st and 2nd racing against each other, the tracks will be chosen by the public. So there will be a poll in Twitch after the first 3 tracks have been flown. and you guys get to vote which one is your favorite track, and the track that comes second is flown in the small final, so the flight for third place, and then the track that gets the most votes will be flown in the big final. So ultimately, you guys get to decide the fate of all these teams, so choose wisely. For the
Yeah,
women,
I love that. We get.
oh yeah, we're gonna get rivalries here. But
Yeah.
the women's cup is a little bit different, though. That will be based on DCL. You guys will be flying 2 different tracks, and that is chosen, I'm pretty sure, at random by us, and will be announced to the teams in due time. But yeah, so for anyone who's watching on Sunday, which is all of you should be watching on Sunday, you get to vote what tracks go in the final. So enjoy. We're giving you some power in deciding the fate of all the teams.
I think that's really exciting.
Yeah.
I just see all the China Dragons fans thinking, okay, which ones did China Dragons race best on? We vote for that. All the Quad Force 1 lot turning up, making noise in chat as usual, and voting for the one that they think the team's going to outperform on.
Of course.
Yeah,
and if you're special bonus, if you're following DCL, like our Twitch channel, your vote counts double. So you need to be following us too whilst you're at it. See how great I am at that self-promotion there? I'm sliding it in.
Yeah. I'm impressed, Jess.
So what are you guys looking forward to the most about your first ever DCL season?
Would you like to start, Mako?
Sure. I'm looking forward to in-person racing in Mexico. I mean,
yeah, Mexico's nice.
That's the big one. But I think just growing and improving my skills throughout the entire season, I'm really excited to see, where I've started and how I finish. Because, like I said, I haven't simmed a ton, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that growth. I think it's going to be big. Mm-hmm. I'm confident.
Yeah, this is the same like Mako. It's I don't have to say anymore.
Is there a pilot that obviously, let's just remove each other from the equation. A pilot that you're particularly looking forward to racing against?
I think Leo on Fire is going to be great competition. I believe she's on X-Blades.
Yeah.
She's been flying for a long time. She has tons of stick time and has been in a lot of big competitions. So I know she'll be able to handle the stress and the pressure. So I think she'll be fun to race against. And I think she might have been the top, correct me if I'm wrong, the top qualifying woman in the draft.
I think so, yeah.
So she'll be definitely competition.
I think it could be a very big challenge to race against Ro.
Yeah.
Because I think Ro is a really, really, really awesome fast girl pilot. And of course, it could be an interesting race against Ryan, because we are both nearly the same.
We're really close. Yeah.
Yeah. This could be really a big challenge.
I know you two have raced together before. Have you got any idea? Is there a head-to-head count between the two of you of wins?
We actually haven't raced together before.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Oh, you just know each other through the community.
Just through the community. We have a Women of FPV Discord. So if any females are out there, sorry, I'm plugging this, interested in learning to fly or fly, we're a really fun community. 12 and up age-wise. So it's about 80 of us, I think.
It's a very lovely community.
Because the URLs are a mess. My Discord is in Wisjapur or something, so it's hard.
If I send the link out, though, I'll probably get all kinds of men joining, because we've had that before, which is fine, but they more infiltrate and
I think
I'll leave it at that.
dear Twitch audience, if you are interested in joining, you can DM Mako on, I think Instagram is probably the easiest way to reach you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can then talk to them, do an inspection first that they are the right people for the community.
Yeah, and by the way, Jess, I have to mention that my impression was that the community in our Discord group grows more after the Women's Cup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was my impression, yes.
Yeah, we had a bunch of freestyle pilots in our Discord asking about racing and downloading DCL. So the Women's Cup has definitely encouraged more than just us racers to get extra motivated, but actually is impressed upon some of the freestyle pilots some racing.
That's really cool.
Because I think there are more female freestyle pilots. I don't know if that's true. I don't know.
I agree. I don't know, but I agree.
I mean, I don't race with females ever. The only time I do is at a national event. So I have to go pretty far.
That's interesting. So it seems like there's a larger proportion of women freestylers than racers.
It seems to be that way. I don't know.
Can you make any suggestion as to why that would be? Because it seems like you've both had very positive, welcoming experiences in the FPV community.
I would only be speculating, but maybe it has to do with the fact that you are constantly rebuilding your drone. So you're spending a lot of money on parts and continually having to repair. I don't know.
And with freestyle, that's
and I just think, I mean, they're crashing their drone too, but I don't know if it's as often as we are. But they always have the risk of losing theirs in like the water or something.
What's
stuck in a
that?
tree.
Yeah, when they crash, they often lose their drones.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because it's further away, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there like a substantial difference
really
between a freestyle FPV drone and a racing drone?
Yeah, racing drones are a lot lighter. So they're, the aerodynamics is kept in mind. So you're using lighter components.
And the battery is under the drone. And freestyler have the drone, the batteries on top. Okay. Mostly.
Yeah, and you're gonna, you're more for filming, so you'll probably carry a GoPro, and we're just using IV cams because we don't care about our footage as much.
You see, in our real life races, you had to have both on board.
Yeah, right, for DCL.
For the TV, yeah. So we would have, we would capture your FPV and we would put that out on the live streams, which I always loved in TV terms because it means what you're seeing is what they're using. So if this picture looks a bit bad and you're a TV viewer going, oh, the picture's breaking up a bit, yeah, that's what they're seeing at 100 miles an hour. So,
yeah.
I felt like that was a really good way of showcasing your skill.
Yeah.
But they had to have GoPros on them as well to get it for HD for real television when they
sense.
made our magazine programs and stuff. So I guess that was something that some of our racers weren't used to. But they had to build it well in advance and they had all the time to practice it. It's not like we landed them with a camera on the day. This was all, stuff people trained with.
Mm-hmm.
So Twitch chat people, do you have any more questions? I feel like we've covered quite a few. If you have any more, feel free. If not, Matt, you've always got the greatest questions. You get the most interesting responses from people. It's truly a gift.
Well, thank you very much. Actually, interviewing people is the thing I find the hardest. Not just in drone racing, but in any of the presenting and esports and gaming and stuff that I do. It's, I don't know. It's important as the interviewer to do everything you can to make the person you're interviewing totally at home in an environment which they are very rarely totally at home with, unless unless you're somebody who's regularly in world championship finals and stuff, and then you're a bit more used to it.
Yeah.
I actually find it very, very hard to do, but I am a genuine fan. I am truly impressed by what our racers can do. Yourselves and everybody else who I've had the pleasure of meeting through DCL. I can't do it. I can fly a bit, but I don't race. I am genuinely excited. And when I meet people and I'm interviewing them, you know, I have to do it professionally rather than just go, "Wow, that was amazing! How did you do that?" Maybe that's just what I'll do in future. It's easier that way.
I don't think anyone would mind that, to be fair.
Some TV producers might, but maybe not in DCL terms. But you know, it is true. I am enthusiastic because I love this and I find it amazing. Good. But I am so pleased that this Women's Cup has happened. I know you've been very instrumental in that, Jess. So well done. Because I think it's something, and I want to make sure everybody knows. I think it's a really important thing. We've always allowed female pilots. You know, we had junior racing for IRC in 2017, and we had one riot race for one of our teams when we were racing in Munich in 2018, the X-Play sister team. You know, we have always allowed that, but for the last couple of years, there haven't been any female pilots. And I know there's been one or two comments online where people have gone, "Why is there a separate cup?" And I think what we must emphasize is women pilots are still allowed to compete in, you know, the World Championship Series as well. So I think, you know, that's really, honestly, the first thing I looked for when the rosters were finalized, the first thing I looked for was, yourselves, PrettyFly, Mako, anybody else, are you in, you know, the World Championship in the first race? Yeah. Are you taking part on those foreign rosters? Are we going to have some women taking part? Can't wait for it to happen. I'm sure it will happen. I'm sure we'll see both of you racing in the main races as well.
I think that's part of the reason why the format of the Women's Cup is keeping the 7 teams that they're represented by women, is so that these teams have the option. I mean, within a race, obviously, you stay either racing in your Women's Cup or your World Championship. But, you know, where Prop Town, say there's a woman who particularly shines in the Women's Cup, well, then the team will have the option in the next race in Reute of thinking, you know what, maybe I'll put her in the World Championship team and put another woman in the Women's Cup. And that was the whole idea of the format the way it is that it's giving, you know, women the ability to be in both and not just pinning them into this one cup and this is the only one that they can fly in. And so we're looking forward to seeing that. But a few questions in the Twitch chat about obstacles. I mean, particularly in DCL the game, are there what kind of obstacle would you say you find the most either challenging or fun or both?
What's obstacle in German?
Element.
Yeah.
Element, like track element.
Okay. Why can you speak German?
Me?
Michael, you said element? Really? In German, you can say element too. It's not only.
I'm many times I don't know about clearly.
Okay. What I like the most was the question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like ladders, really, but they are challenging me. It's hard for me to fly them, but I like them the most because they give me most fun.
I really enjoyed in the draft tracks, the Prop Town track, and I think they were both Prop Town tracks, the dives. I really loved diving the building and trying to get in both the gates. At first, that was so hard for me, but I was really excited by the end of it. I could do it. And then there was another dive in a draft track that you had to do. And then at the end, you had to do it in the other direction, which totally threw me off. But I really like the dives. And in real life, I love corkscrews. Those are a lot of fun in real life. So you have the 3 gates and you kind of just spiral through them. Yeah.
Said specifically in real life there. Is that something you don't like in Sim, but you do in real life?
I don't think I've flown a 3-gate corkscrew in Sim yet.
Okay.
So that's why I don't know.
Okay.
Nate is in the chat. Nate, he's regular on my Twitch channel as well. Says Hindernis is obstacle in German. That pronunciation's wrong, isn't it? I know, but
Hindernis.
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 It has to be said with a little bit more authority. Cheers, Nate. Just for a moment, Jess. And anybody DCL, I just want to say, I think you're both going to really enjoy Sunday. And I don't mean just because it's DCL, but tracks. See, Jess, you can listen again.
I feel like we're listening to riddles and puzzles, and I'm just confused. We'll see though.
Oh, you like ladders and dives. The both of you. I'm just.
Well, I figured the dives would be there.
Yeah, to be fair, Prop Town.
There's got to be dives in Prop Town,
There are always
Andreas
dives
is in the
in
chat.
Prop Town.
Yeah.
The whole thing about Prop Town is it's skyscrapers, so of course you're gonna have highs. That's what.
And then the name of the track was Sky something, so it's gonna be
Surfer.
full of dives. Sky Surfer.
Sky Surfer. Yes, I possibly haven't told you anything that you didn't already know.
Oh, I think we might have lost internet connection or something.
Oh,
Andreas just popped up and he's saying he can't hear it.
And it's not only him, it looks like.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Have we
been
lost
a
sound
while.
as well?
No, it's choppy, like it comes and goes basically. So there are times where it's better, and then the times where it gets worse, and we just power through and hope that people get the general gist of what we're saying.
Right.
Thankfully, on Sunday, it is not my internet that is running the stream, so this will not be an issue. Cool. Well, is there anything that Matt, do you have any additional questions?
No, I had all sorts of things I wanted to chat to you about, but then computer problems meant couldn't get very far into that. So I'm sorry again that I got to join so late, but I've been very excited to meet you both. So I'm really glad to get a chance, and thank you, Jess, for wanting me to come on the show because it's race week.
Yes, I'm so excited. Ryan, Laura, do you have any, shout outs you want to do, or people you want to thank, or say thanks to my homies for supporting me? Feel free to just throw any information you want to throw out there. Plug yourself.
Oh gosh. I don't want to plug myself, but thank you to my race chapters, my local race chapters, because I would not be racing with DCL if it weren't for you guys, because that's where I got my practice in. Racing faster than MGAWS, but we change our names during the race. Mako Reactra, faster than MGAWS. We like to make the competition a little bit more fun. So they've been great, and I thank them because I wouldn't have done it without them.
Oh,
that's sweet.
Yeah, and I have to say thank you to my husband because he shows me how to soldering a quad. And not only one time, and not 2 times, and not 3 times. Maybe it was 4 or 5 times until I understand it. And it was a very long way until I can solder my first quad for my own. And he showed me how to do this. And of course, I want to say thank you to my chapter. Like, it's the, as I say a few minutes before, you can't race without any people or friends, because racing alone is so boring. And a chapter or a team or friends are the most important thing in our hobby. And thank you to Koptergeschwader Hannover.
Yeah, the community is really what makes the whole thing worthwhile. I mean, I came in knowing nothing about drones, and it's been the community. Obviously, DCL is an organization, but one of my favorite parts of my job is that I get to interact with the community. So it's been really great having all of you guys. Matt, any shout outs that you want to add?
No, I'm going to leave the stars to be PrettyFly and Mako. But join us on Sunday, everybody. It's back. Joint Champions League back on Sunday. We go racing. We're doing this for like 7 hours. I will. That's gonna be easy. We're going to have tons of races, loads more races than we had last year. 3 tracks. Great challenges for the pilots. Women's Cup. Everything's happening. New point system. New format. Loads of new draft pilots. Well done to everybody who came in through the draft. Can't wait to see what they can all bring as well.
There's a new team this
and then at
year
the end
as
of it, we can also compare the women's times on some tracks. There's what?
There's a new team this year as well.
Of course. Yeah. I see you in the chat as well, SDT. Yeah, they're excited. So glad to have back as well. Different roster, but the Spain drone team are back again. What I really want to see when we finished on Sunday is I'm going to be looking over all the data, or possibly not Sunday night to be exhausted, but I'm going to be looking over all the data and going, okay, we got a chance to have Women's Cup pilots on the same tracks as our World Championship team pilots for this Sunday. I'm really excited to see how all the times match up and like who was better if we combine everybody, like which pilots were better across all the wonderful competitors this Sunday. It's going to be so exciting.
Definitely.
I like spreadsheets.
I love spreadsheets.
I need spreadsheets.
We're always on the same one. No, I love your spreadsheet, Matt. Like watching it makes my heart happy because I'm obsessed with spreadsheets and stats and stuff. So it's just you do it in a way that just makes my heart happy.
Oh, that's what I love in this is. That's why I love DCL. Right, well, the spreadsheet Twitch channel will come to you soon on the Sunday night post-race show.
Cool.
There will be a post-race show. A couple of times last year, I streamed on my own Twitch channel, which is ESL Andrews TV. I streamed a post-show, just chatting with people afterwards.
Yeah.
But, let's get the first racing out and let's all smash it this Sunday.
Yes.
And let's see who takes the first win.
Good luck to you two and to all the pilots. I know a lot of you are in the Twitch chat. I'm really looking forward to this. Everyone, and just also, I said this in the Discord chat, but have fun. I know it's a race and it's competitive, but just enjoy yourselves because it is such a fun experience, and I hope that you guys will all enjoy it as much as we love watching it. So thank you again so much to Matt, to Laura, to Ryan for joining me today. Really appreciated you taking the time and sitting with me through these very painful technical difficulties. I'm very sorry about that, but you guys have all been amazing, so thank you. Thank you to our lovely Twitch audience for sticking around despite the technical difficulties, and obviously for your great questions as you always ask. And yeah, have a nice day, evening, morning, depending on where you are. We're out.
Thanks for having me, and it was really nice talking to you, Laura. I know we don't get to chat ever in person, so it's second best to see you on the screen.
Hopefully soon in real life.
To say that too. Yeah, and maybe on Discord, maybe we can make a team call or a ladies call and race together. And
yeah, definitely.
This will be awesome.
If you're doing some DCL races online, I'll commentate if you want me to.
Most definitely.
More. Okay, let's do it on Sunday.
All right, thank you.
Let's go. Bye, guys.